You have trouble living in the present, so you linger on the past because you feel like you never really lived it. Zoolander was more of my own sensibility. My parents used to throw great New Year's Eve parties. They invited such an eclectic mix of showbiz people. All those cool people were always hanging out at our apartment. You're freaked out that you're going to be having a child, and once you're looking after your daughter, it's the most beautiful thing in the world. The failure of the cable guy impacted my career. I had to start writing and acting again. Paul is Starsky, and I met him before shooting. He was very kind and encouraged us to go with what we wanted to do. It was very sweet to see them back with the car after 25 years. My own parents were touchy-feely. Jim Carrey, a comic genius, has a harder time overcoming the public's desire for him to be funny simply because he's so good at it. I just watched Paul Michael Glaser. He was the reason I wanted to do the movie because as a kid I was such a big fan of his. I watched all the episodes and tried to get a feeling for what he was doing. Whatever talent I had, I'm sure it helped that my parents were in the business and that I grew up around actors, comedians and directors. Very quickly after meeting Dustin, the whole image I had of him was shattered. The clichés are that it's the most generic Starsky and Hutch plot you can find. Sometimes I wondered whether I hadn't let my career get confined to one direction, but lately I've decided to accept the fact that I have this opportunity to be successful doing comedies. Maybe forced retirement isn't necessary after all. It was a mixed blessing to have famous parents. It was tough to go to auditions and be bad, since I couldn't be anonymous. If you look at my eyes when I'm dancing, you'll see that glazed look. I've had a very good career and I'm grateful that the public has had some level of acceptance and appreciation of my work. I'm not an expert on the Malaysian sense of humor. I'm always willing to endure humiliation on behalf of my characters. I would like to do more dramas when I find a good role that will allow me to politely upset people's expectations of me as a comic actor. I have a lot of nervous energy. Work is my best way of channeling that into something productive unless I want to wind up assaulting the postman or gardener. I grew up wanting to make movies, and along the way I suddenly found that I had a career doing comedy. I don't think the public is dying to see me necessarily be funny all the time. I don't think if anything's going to translate anywhere. You're making a movie. You hope it's going to be funny, You can't think about how it's going to go over. I don't have a burning desire to be taken seriously as an actor. I don't have a master plan in that way. Fashion is so over the top. Even when I'm not directing, that doesn't stop Owen from having ideas for what I should be doing. There's always an element of fear that you need to work a lot until people get sick and tired of you or finally figure out that you're a fraud after all. I think people will be curious to see what I can do as a dramatic actor. I think most politicians could take a dodgeball in the face. I enjoy the work I do in comedies. It's a valid test of your creative abilities. There's an old saying in Hollywood, it's not the length of your film, it's how you use it. I don't devalue comedy as compared to drama. Not one bit. I love New York. I was sad, depressed and incredibly moved by our fellow countrymen and what they've done. I wanted to give people a chance to see something funny, have a distraction.